Picture this. You're sitting at your desk, drowning in student loan paperwork, and everyone around you keeps saying the same thing. You need a 4-year degree. You need to spend $250,000 on college. You need to follow the traditional path, or you'll never make real money. And then you notice something strange. Your cousin who skipped college and went into a trade is making more than your friends who graduated from expensive universities. Your neighbor dropped out and now she's running a successful business. The guy down the street got certified in something you'd never heard of and he's buying a second home. So you start wondering, what if the whole college thing isn't actually the only path to building serious wealth? What if there are careers out there that pay incredibly well and don't require you to take on massive debt and spend 4 years sitting in lectures you'll forget 2 weeks later? My name is Nick, and I spend way too much time thinking about money, career paths, and why society keeps pushing us toward expensive degrees when there are legitimately better financial alternatives available. If you're curious about making serious income without the college debt trap, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if it helps you see your career options differently. Now, here's the thing that nobody really talks about. The job market has changed dramatically, but our education system is still stuck in the 1990s, telling everyone they need a degree or they're worthless. That's not true. There are actually dozens of careers where you can earn 6 figures without ever stepping foot in a college classroom. In fact, some of these careers pay better than most jobs that require a degree. The barrier to entry is usually time, certification, apprenticeships, or technical training, but not massive student debt. And the math is pretty compelling when you actually look at it. Think about the traditional degree path: 4 years of school, $30,000 to $100,000 in debt, lost income while you're studying, and you're starting your career already stressed about paying off loans. Compare that to a trade apprenticeship. You get paid while you learn. You go straight into a career that's actively hiring. You have 0 student debt. You're miles ahead financially from day one. So let me walk you through 12 of the highest paying careers you can break into right now without a degree. And honestly, some of these will surprise you in terms of how much money you can actually make. Let's start with electrical work. My electricians are genuinely some of the highest paid tradespeople in the country. And honestly, it's not even close. Like, after you complete a typical 4-year apprenticeship, you're looking at making anywhere from $60,000 to over $100,000 per year, depending on where you live and whether you work union or non-union. The cool part is you start making money from year 1 of the apprenticeship. You're getting paid to learn. Most apprentices make between $20,000 and $30,000 during their first year, and that increases every year. Every year you're there. You're building skills, you're getting raises, and you're not drowning in student debt. By the time you're a journeyman electrician, you're making serious money. And here's what a lot of people don't realize. Electricians aren't just rewiring houses. There's commercial electrical work where you're running massive electrical systems for office buildings and factories, industrial electrical work where you're dealing with specialized equipment and complex systems that pay premium rates. Renewable energy installation is exploding right now, with solar panels and wind turbines needing trained professionals. The demand is constantly high. There are always buildings being built, renovations happening, infrastructure needing maintenance. This isn't a career that's going away anytime soon. Plus, once you build experience and reputation, you can start your own business and charge even more. We're talking $200,000, $300,000 a year for established electricians who run their own companies and have a crew working for them. They're literally making money off other people's labor while they handle the business side. The barrier to entry is low. You need a high school diploma or GED and basic math skills. That's it. No college entrance exam, no applications, no crushing debt. Then there's plumbing, which is honestly one of the most underrated income sources out there. Plumbers make similar money to electricians, sometimes even more in certain markets. We're talking 60,000 to 110,000 for experienced journeymen and master plumbers with their own businesses pulling in way more than that. And again, apprenticeships pay you while you learn. You're getting paid from day one to develop skills that are going to make you six figures later. The demand is absolutely insane. Every building needs plumbing. Pipes break, systems fail. People need emergency calls at 3 in the morning when their toilet is backing up or their water heater explodes, and they'll pay premium rates for that emergency service. Emergency plumbing calls can be absolutely lucrative, like 2 or 3 times the normal rate for going out at midnight. You're not just doing standard installations either. There's drain cleaning, water heater repair, mainline work, commercial plumbing, which pays better than residential, sewage system work. The variety keeps the job interesting, and different types of work pay differently. Residential plumbing is steady and predictable. Commercial plumbing pays better because businesses can't afford downtime. Some plumbers specialize in high-end homes where they're installing luxury fixtures, fancy heated floors, premium bathrooms, and making incredible money. Those high-end residential clients can be worth tens of thousands per job. Like electricians, many plumbers eventually start their own businesses, hire crews, and the income can grow significantly from there. A successful plumbing business owner can easily make $150 to $250 a year. HVAC technicians are another huge one. And honestly, it's one of the fastest growing trades right now. Heating, ventilation, and air conditioning work is extremely profitable and the demand is wild. Entry-level HVAC technicians make $40,000 to $50,000 easily, and experienced technicians are pulling in $80,000 to $120,000 annually. These systems are in every building you can think of. Every home needs climate control. Every office building, every restaurant, every hospital. And here's the thing. People get absolutely desperate when their AC breaks in the middle of summer, like 95 degrees and their system stops working. They'll call you and they need it fixed today. That's when emergency rates kick in and you can charge 2, 3, sometimes 4 times the normal rate. Emergency calls for HVAC work are incredibly lucrative. You're going to make more money from 2 emergency calls than a full week of regular maintenance. Plus, with climate control systems becoming more complex and the push toward energy efficiency and smart HVAC systems that can be controlled from your phone, the skills become more valuable and harder to find. HVAC companies are constantly struggling to find qualified technicians because even though the barrier to entry is low compared to other skilled trades, most people don't know that the job exists or how much money they can make doing it. Let's talk about welding. Welders are serious earners and the earning potential goes up based on specialization. A certified welder is making $60,000 to $100,000 in many markets. That's a solid income right there. And in specialized welding, like underwater welding, pipeline welding, or structural steel work, we're talking significantly more money. Some underwater welders make $200,000 a year. Now, underwater welding is extreme and dangerous. I'm not going to sugarcoat that, but it illustrates the point that specialized welding skills can be incredibly lucrative if you're willing to work in challenging conditions. Most welders get certified through technical schools in about 6 to 18 months, so the time investment is relatively short. The demand is consistent and growing. Pipelines need building, ships need repair, structural steel for buildings needs professionals. Construction is constant, and with infrastructure spending and new energy projects happening all over, there's more work than there are qualified welders. Some specialized welders, like those doing pipeline work in remote areas, can make $150,000 or more per year. Now, here's one that surprises people, all right? Commercial pilots. You don't need a 4-year degree to become an airline pilot. You need flight training and certifications. This is expensive upfront, maybe $80,000 to $150,000 for the entire process. But here's the thing. Pilots make $140,000 to $250,000 a year minimum for a first officer at a major airline. Many pilots make well over $300,000 once they reach captain status. So yes, the training costs more than college up front, but the income payoff is absolutely massive. The training usually takes about 2 to 3 years, and you're building flight hours the entire time. After your license, you start at regional airlines around 80 or 90,000, but within 10 years, you're at a major carrier making 250,000 plus. Captains make well over 300,000 annually. That's real wealth that college graduates are dreaming about while pilots are actually earning it. Then there's air traffic control. Air traffic controllers make about 120,000 a year from the start. No degree required. There's a training program through the FAA. You have to pass the screening, pass medical certifications, and complete the academy. But again, no college degree. The demand is consistent and probably won't change because planes need guidance. Every airport needs controllers. It's a government job with excellent benefits, security, pension plans, and steady income. The barrier is definitely higher than some trades. You need to pass their tests and the academy, and not everyone passes because it's honestly pretty challenging work. The job requires focus, decisiveness, and the ability to handle high-pressure situations. But there's no college degree requirement, and the payoff is significant. You're basically set for life at 120, starting with government job security, benefits, and a pension. Dental hygienists. Here's where it gets interesting because this is actually a sweet spot between income and training time. Dental hygienists make $80,000 to $105,000 a year depending on the market and whether they work part-time or full-time. You don't need a 4-year degree at all. You need an associate degree, which is 2 years and costs significantly less than a bachelor's. So you're looking at 2 years of school, maybe 15 to 20,000 in costs, and then immediately into a career making good money. Compare that to someone spending 4 years and $100,000 on a degree. The demand is absolutely huge, and it's not going anywhere. Every dental practice needs multiple hygienists. People are constantly getting cleanings, doing preventative care, getting x-rays. It's predictable, steady income. The job market is strong and growing, and there's flexibility. Some hygienists work full-time at one practice, some freelance, and work at multiple practices. Some work part-time while doing other things. It's actually pretty cushy compared to a lot of other careers. Real estate is another path. This one is a little different because you're not making a salary. You're making commission on transactions, but plenty of people make 100,000 plus annually as real estate agents, and many make significantly more. You need to get licensed, which requires taking a course and passing a test, usually a few weeks of studying. You don't need a degree. The barrier to entry is low, just time and effort to get licensed. Your income potential is extremely high if you're good at sales and you build a client base. Some real estate agents make $300,000 a year or more, especially if they're in hot markets and they specialize in higher value properties. The income is completely dependent on your effort and skill, which means it's risky, but it also means unlimited potential if you're willing to work hard and you're decent at talking to people and helping them with major purchases. The people making the most money in real estate are usually those who build strong relationships, specialize in a particular market, and develop a reputation for being trustworthy. There's also truck driving, and honestly, this is one where the demand is absolutely crazy right now. Long-haul truck drivers make $70,000 to $85,000 a year doing standard trucking jobs. Some owner-operator truckers who own their own rigs and manage their own routes make $120,000 or more. You need a commercial driver's license, which is obtained through testing and usually a short training period at a trucking school. Not a degree. Not even close. The entire training can be done in a few weeks to a couple months. The demand is literally insane. Everything gets shipped. Every store, every factory, every business depends on truckers to move products. And with the driver shortage and aging workforce, companies are constantly recruiting and offering sign-on bonuses. Some trucking companies are paying $50,000 to start plus bonuses. Long-haul trucking can be lonely and the hours can be tough, but the pay is solid and you're building skills that never go out of demand. Construction management is hugely lucrative. This is one where you can actually build a really solid career over time. Project managers in construction make $80,000 to $130,000 starting out, and experienced ones make significantly more. You don't need a degree, you need experience on construction sites and certifications. Many people start as laborers, work their way up, learn the business, understand the systems, and then get a project management professional certification, which boosts their credibility and earning potential. You're learning while doing, which is way more practical than sitting in a classroom. The demand is consistent. Buildings are always being built or renovated, especially with infrastructure spending increasing. And as you build experience and reputation, you can start your own construction company, and the income potential grows exponentially. Some construction company owners make $300,000 plus a year. Power plant operators, here's an interesting one that doesn't get talked about enough. Power plant operators make $120,000 to $150,000 a year starting out, and experienced operators can make even more. You need a high school diploma and on-the-job training, but no college degree. These are often government or utility company jobs with excellent benefits, healthcare, pensions, incredible stability. Once you're in, you're basically set. The demand is steady because every city and region needs power infrastructure. Plants need to run 24/7, and they need trained people managing them. It's the kind of job where you're genuinely essential and there's zero chance of outsourcing it. Data center technicians are becoming increasingly valuable, and honestly, this field is booming right now. Data center workers make $50,000 starting and can work their way up to $100,000 or more in 5 to 10 years. That's pretty solid income growth. You don't need a degree, you need certifications and technical knowledge that you can gain through training and on-the-job experience. Many companies will train you and even pay for certifications because they need people. With cloud computing and data infrastructure growing exponentially, data centers are expanding constantly. Every company needs their data somewhere. Every social media platform, every e-commerce business, every streaming service requires massive data center infrastructure. This field is literally booming and will continue booming for the foreseeable future. Finally, there's entrepreneurship, and I know this is broad, but plenty of people build incredibly successful businesses without degrees. Contractors, consultants, service providers, online businesses, coaching, consulting, you name it. You don't need a degree to be an entrepreneur. You need an idea, work ethic, and usually some capital to start, though some businesses start with minimal investment. Some of the most successful people in the world never finished college or never went at all. They had ideas and they executed them. Entrepreneurship income is unlimited. It's risky, sure, and not everyone succeeds, but the potential is enormous. You're not capped at any salary level. You're not limited by job titles or corporate structures. You're just limited by your own effort and creativity. Some entrepreneurs make more in a month than some employees make in a year. Here's what I want you to understand. The degree isn't the ticket to wealth that society makes it out to be. It's one path among many. And frankly, for a lot of people, it's not the best path. You take on debt, you spend time not earning, and then you enter a job market where maybe your degree doesn't even translate to the income you were promised. Meanwhile, skilled tradespeople and people in specialized careers are making excellent money, building equity quickly because they're not drowning in debt, and often have better job security because skilled workers are in such high demand. The tax benefits of being self-employed or running a business can also be significant. You can deduct business expenses, home office deductions, vehicle deductions. That all reduces your taxable income. A tradesperson making $60,000 after deductions might have a lower taxable income than someone making $60,000 as a salaried employee with no deductions. Now, I'm not saying college is always a bad idea. For some careers, it's necessary. If you want to be a doctor, you need medical school. If you want to be a lawyer, you need law school. But for a lot of careers, especially those focused on building wealth, there are better, faster, less expensive paths. Expensive The person who goes through a 3-year HVAC apprenticeship starting at 20 and earning while they learn, then works as an HVAC tech making $80,000 a year by age 23 is in a drastically different financial position than someone who spent 4 years and $100,000 on a degree and is starting their first job at 22 making $50,000. By age 30, the tradesperson is probably $100,000 ahead financially. By age 40, the gap is massive. The key is understanding what you actually want to do and then finding the most efficient path to get there. Don't just follow the default route because everyone else is doing it. Look at the actual job market. Look at what's actually paying money. Look at what has reasonable barriers to entry. Look at what has strong demand. The careers I've mentioned are all solid because they check all these boxes. They pay well. People are actively hiring, the training is relatively accessible, and they don't require you to take on massive debt. So if you're currently stressed about college costs or worried you won't make it without a degree, maybe it's time to consider whether there's a different path that makes more financial sense for you specifically. Your future self will thank you for thinking strategically about this now instead of just following what everyone else is doing.